advantages and disadvantages. So now let's take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of using group and pair work in class. Each class is going to be different and you're going to face your own challenges in your own particular classes. I want you to think about what problems you might face and how we might overcome them. Before we start this part, I have a task for you. I would like you to think of at least 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages of your own before you look at my choices. First of all, let's look at some advantages. The most obvious advantage is that students are more involved with the class and they're more involved with each other. One of the biggest things is that in a bigger class, it's very hard to include everybody. This fixes that problem. Many times when you're cold calling, you're left with 15 to 16 kids just watching another kid do something. This is the solution, getting them in groups and talking together and actively working together at the same time. It also helps the students feel secure and comfortable. They help each other. They do peer-to-peer learning, where the smarter students will always help the younger and maybe less experienced students in their group. You can assign these types of roles specifically, try to match more clever students with less clever students, and they will help each other grow. In general, the students will be less worried about making mistakes. They will feel less self-conscious in their groups. They will feel safer and they will feel like they can open up a bit more and be less scrutinized. This is a good thing and hopefully it will mean that they will feel more confident to speak more English. As well as all this, it just makes a nice change to usual class formats, which are cold calling, drilling, activities, games, listening and reading and writing. Having a group activity is a fun injection into the class and it makes things a little different and changes up the dynamic. Okay, so let's look at some disadvantages. Obviously, one of the main ones is going to be if you let it, it'll be noisy and out of control. Sometimes this can be good, you want a bit of energy in your class, you want a bit of excitement, and if they're talking animatedly about a subject in English, then it's not so bad, but of course you need to monitor and you need to control and you need to make sure that they're not speaking native language. Even as an advantage, and the students will be more relaxed and they'll be less afraid to make mistakes, mistakes will still be commonplace and you need to decide how much you're going to correct this. You obviously can't monitor all the groups at once, but if you hear some obvious mistakes, then you do need to try and correct it gently and quietly so as not to embarrass anybody. There will be a problem with a bit of lack of control at the beginning when you try these things. Some of the students will be joking and they'll be lazy and they might even be disruptive. A lot of the students who are normally disruptive will see these as opportunities to be lazy, mess around, not do much and just be an annoyance. So you need to monitor and have a behavior management system ready in place for those sort of circumstances. You may have some confused or shy or just quiet students in your class, and generally they may not do as well in the beginning because these groups are going to be dominated by the more confident speakers, the ones who have lots of ideas and want to tell the class, tell their friends and tell the teacher. You need to work out a way where you can get the shy and quiet kids involved as well. Maybe you assign them a role as note taker, or you assign them the role as the person who tells the rest of the class at the end of the activity. Whatever you decide is best for that particular student. Time management is going to be an issue, especially in the first few times you try these things. You're going to find it takes a lot of time, might be quite unorganized. The more you do it, the more refined it will become. You need to make sure that you know what you're doing, how much time each part takes, and how much time you can allow for the whole activity.